Welcome to the All the Stuff podcast, where we jam about money, clutter, and food, and the real stuff under this stuff. Join me, Lisa Carpenter, your resident food coach, along with my co-hosts, money coach Jen Turrell and clutter coach Lisa Sharp, as we help you release what's weighing you down and heal your relationship with food, money, and clutter from the inside out.
Welcome to today's episode of All the Stuff. I am Jen Turrell here with my co-host Lisa Carpenter and Lisa Sharp. Lisa Sharp is calling in on the phone today. We don't have her beautiful face on YouTube, so if you're watching YouTube, she is the phone. Hi, Lisa Sharp.
Hi, Jen. Hi, Lisa. Hi, everybody.
So today we're going to talk about intention setting. This episode should be going out on the 2nd of January, so we've just had New Year's, which is always exciting. 2017, here we come. And we just wanted to talk about the intentions we're setting and find out what kind of intentions you're all setting for the new year. Who wants to start this one?
Oh, radio silence.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to mute myself, so yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Let's hear from Lisa Carpenter. I bet she has some good stuff.
I got lots of stuff to talk about. Okay, so I don't set resolutions, right? So I really go in with this intentions, because for me, intentions have a certain amount of energy behind them, but I'm not like grasping at them so tightly that if it doesn't happen, I'm going to like keel over and lose it. So my intentions for this year are still focused around creating this financial freedom, financial abundance for myself, getting my debt paid down, which I've really talked very openly about in previous episodes. And, so if this episode is going out on January 2nd, I am just shy of a month away from having my entire debt actually paid. So before we like gasp in horror, like, how did you do that, Lisa? There's a caveat to it. Okay. Our mortgage came up for renewal, and my hubby has seen me working really hard on my debt repayment. So I've been very aggressively paying it down, because I knew that if I paid this much money, it would get paid off in 2 years. So he's watched me change my mindset, right? Over the holidays, as I said, if I put something on my credit card, I had to pay it immediately. I didn't wait for the bill. I talked about how I've been very uncomfortable about not debting over the holidays, because I've always just debted. That's how I roll. So this has all been new. So he's really been watching this and paying attention to how much my money story has changed, because in the past I'd pay off my debt and then I'd rack it up again. I'd pay it off and I'd rack it up again. So things have fundamentally shifted for me. So we had this opportunity to, redo our debt. And it was the craziest story, because I had been at a Reiki healer. So for any of you who aren't familiar with Reiki, it's like energy work, and you may or may not believe it. You don't have to believe it. I love any type of kind of woo-woo stuff. Whatever, bring it on. If it'll help me, I'll throw everything at it. So I'd gone to my Reiki healer, and she's like, what is all this like poverty? It's like you have this like deep rooted, past life, whatever, rooted in like really deep poverty. She's like, so I'm going to clear that for you. I'm like, you do whatever. I'm under the rainbow blanket here, because she puts this rainbow blanket on me, and I'm going to relax and just, feel this. So she did her thing. I kid you not, ladies. I come home and I'm parked out back. I hadn't even gotten out of the car yet. My hubby hops in the car and he looks at me. He's like, how would it feel to have all your debt paid off? I was like, you're funny. No, like, I don't want you to pay off my debt. It's really important to me that I pay off my own debt. He's like, oh, no, you're still going to pay it off. He's like, but we're going to move it. He's like, we're redoing our mortgage. He's like, and it just makes sense for you to put it on our mortgage, because the interest rate is going to be 2.29%, ladies. 2.29%. So
wow.
I know. So we made an agreement that over the next 2 years, I'm still going to pay exactly the same, which oddly enough, our mortgage payment is almost exactly the same as what my aggressive debt repayment was going to be. So I'm going to pay the entire mortgage over the next 2 years. He still wants to double up on it, because that's him. He's like, how quickly can we pay this off? Like, you do whatever you want. But what it does is, because I'll be paying it, if he chooses not to, it brings more income into our family to do whatever. So after 2 years, I still want to be able to, tick it off that I feel like I paid it. It will save me over $10,000. Interesting. And they're able to actually, so this is the other woo-woo part. For years now, I've been actually visualizing myself going into the bank and handing them the check to clear at this one specific bank, this one line of credit that I carry. I've literally visualized that, and they're actually going to give me a check. So I said to him, that visualization is actually going to happen. And he's like, well, technically you're not paying it off. I'm like, it doesn't matter. The visualization, that's what I pictured, that I was hand them a check and they would clear, cancel the account. And this is an account that's like tied to my ex-husband as well. He's been, we have a really great relationship. So he's allowed me to carry that debt because I was paying it, but it's kind of the final break the tie with that. So I've totally talked about some really personal stuff, but that's kind of how I roll. But that opportunity came about because I have been so tenacious about working on my mindset around my money. And what it's doing is opening up so much more opportunity and expansiveness for me. Like, I can't even begin to tell you ladies what it's going to feel like to not have a credit card bill come in every month. Like, I will get one for business, but now I'm so disciplined about whatever I've paid, it just gets paid. Like, I will be that person that gets the credit card and pays it off because it's part of my business expenses. So just that feeling that I get to expand into in the new year is pretty phenomenal for me. So my intention now is to start doing the things that I said I would start doing when I had this kind of financial space and ease, right? Like saving up for the things I want, getting more travel into my life, because I won't have that same kind of restrictive noose around my neck, which in truth was never really there. I put it there energetically. So yeah, going into the new year, my intentions are around, really opening up my launch for my program, continuing to bring the things that I've learned in my own life and my teachings and, from money mindset to food into my group program. Like, that's some of the changes that are going to be happening. I'm going to there's no restrictions on what I'm going to be coaching throughout the year within that group. I'm not limiting myself anymore. And then we have a pretty cool announcement, and I'm going to let one of you guys talk about that. So that's where my head is at. So there's no resolution this year that I'm going to pay off my debt. That's happening. Like, that is happening. So like I said, I still have the 2 years of paying it. So I look forward to that. But now it's just a whole different energy. Like, paying my mortgage feels more like paying myself as opposed to paying debt. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, Jen, and your intentions for you in the new year.
Sure. And I think that's going to actually have a lot of knock-on effects for you because, for one thing, switching it from revolving debt with high interest revolving debt to it being part of the mortgage, it's handled in a different way. So your credit is going to pretty instantly take a nice hit up pretty quickly as soon as, because it's part of your debt to income ratio. So even though it's being added to your mortgage, it's not the same kind of debt. Like, a mortgage is not revolving debt. It's not, attached to nothing. The mortgage is attached to the equity in your home. And you're right. You are paying yourself each month to get the equity in your home, especially if you only have 2%, which is amazing.
No.
That is amazing interest rate. That's so good.
It's actually gone up since we locked it in, and our mortgage broker was very specific around making sure, no offense guys, that we time it around the U.S. election.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because, so anyway.
I'm not going to take offense at the U.S. election. I think the only thing to watch out for, because I have heard a few people tell stories of at some point they rolled their credit card debt into their mortgage. If you're closing that line of credit you were talking about with your husband, that sounds awesome too, just like to completely clear that from the past to get rid of it. The only caution I would give is sometimes people see the open credit card and run it back up, but you really have changed that. I mean, just hearing you talk through the holidays, paying everything off. I mean, and I think that's a good visualization to keep, is paying it down to zero every month. Like, seeing the credit card zero it out. That's fantastic. I'm really impressed. And I think that's a good way. It sounds like for the options you guys were looking at, since you were going to renegotiate the interest anyways, or the house mortgage, perfect time.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. And I think that's what you said around the racking the debt up. That's the difference. And I talk about it with food, right? You have to do the mindset work if you want to lose the weight and keep it off. It's relatively easy to pay off debt. I mean, most people have done it 1 or 2 or 3 times, but it's keeping that debt off. It's keeping the weight off. What's the internal work you need to do? And that's really been something that I've been consistent about over the past couple of years. So yeah, I'm super pumped. And I feel like just doing this podcast keeps me accountable to the fact that I can't rack up my debt, because I really, it's how I coach on food too. If I'm not doing what I actually teach, I feel like a fraud, and then I don't show up in the same way. So I can't show up inauthentically in my business or in my life. It doesn't work for me. So it's hard sometimes because I feel like I hold myself to high standards, and I have to remember that I get to be human and I make mistakes too. But having this podcast is really great for me for just accountability on that as well. But you still didn't share what your intentions are for 2017, Jen.
I didn't. Okay, I'll share them real quick, and then we'll get on to Lisa Sharp too. Because Lisa, without your face there, I miss you.
I know.
I'm here and I'm nodding and I'm
moving
moving my hands around. And, yeah.
Okay. Really. So my intention for the year, that I did that thing where you choose a word for the year. Did you guys choose a word? Lisa Carpenter, what was your word?
I'm not totally set on mine, but I think it's going to be ease is one, and connection is going to be the other.
Okay. Those are both really good. I chose production for this year for myself because I am someone who has lots of ideas. I do James Altucher's 10 ideas a day. When I do my morning pages, I write 750 words a year, 750 words a day, not a year. And I did just the other day, I noticed in that 750words.com website that I use, it tallies up all the words you've written. So the other day I posted that I had written 1,909,000 words since I started writing there in 2011. It showed my longest streak was 295 days. And I was like, I'm coming up on 2 million words in 5 years. That's a lot. That's a lot of production, but not finishing things. So I'm glancing up at the shelf where I think you guys know what I keep up there. That's the unfinished novel. I'm finishing that this year. But first, because the novels always seem too big to tackle, I'm pulling together a collection of short stories. So I've been, over the past year, sending things out here and there. I've had a few things published. I had a really exciting publication where I got a tiny little creative piece in O Magazine and Oprah's Magazine, which was really exciting. And it's kind of given me the boost to be like, what do I always want to do? I've always wanted to be an author and write fiction. So this year, I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to finish some things and hit publish and make it go. I'm also really excited about the thing we're talking about doing together. And I have a couple other projects that I'm doing in collaboration with Neve Arthur, but that's still kind of in the works. So I'm going to mention that later on. But Lisa Sharp, do you want to make the announcement of what we're talking about doing along with your intentions?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
So in 2017, one of the things that we have been hinting about, but I think we're ready to say, is that we're going to have an All the Stuff retreat, and we're looking to hold it sometime in the fall. I know I'm clapping too and grinning like an idiot. You just can't see me. You just have to pretend. But we're so excited. So we're going to be doing, it'll probably be like a 2 or 3 day retreat where we get to just sort of pal around and hang out with other like-minded women who are all working on themselves in some capacity. And of course, we'll be specifically talking about getting sort of your training wheels under you around your money and your food and your clutter, because as we all know, they're all intertwined. So look for the details. We'll be releasing those sometime in the next couple of months when we start getting our plan together. We are so excited. We really hope to have a good group of people. I'm sure we will. So that's coming in the fall. And, it's funny with intentions. I think it's so good to do that instead of doing like the New Year's resolutions. How do we even start doing that as a culture? I wonder where that actually comes from. But of course, we all sort of have that like fresh start, you know, of the new year, the possibilities. It's like the beginning of the school year. Everybody wants to sharpen pencils. And at the beginning of any year, you know, the most common things that people resolve to tackle are their weight and their clutter and their money, right? So it's like, you know, this time of year, all of us kind of get a hit in our businesses because people are coming to us, you know, wanting to sort of ride that wave of fresh new energy, which is great. But I will also say that I think really any time is the perfect time to start on any of these things. It doesn't have to be this sort of build up, you know, that we all kind of do as humans. It's like we want it like that this time is going to be different. And if I started on January 1st, that, you know, it's like I have this whole fresh year to, you know, to tackle everything. And the fact is that most people within a couple of weeks start kind of petering out. It's like when you go to the gym, you know, if you're like a regular gym goer, and then like January is always slammed because everybody and their brother's in there. And then February rolls around and it kind of gets back to its normal pace because, you know, people kind of tend to go overboard and like, I'm going to lose 40 pounds in 2 months and I'm going to go to the gym every single day and I'm going to work out for 60 minutes a day and I'm going to only eat salad and whatever it is. We do all of these things kind of to an extreme. And sometimes it's really fun in life to just clear the decks and really do that. But by and large, I think that the better way is to just, you know, adding things in, starting to check your checking account every day or every 3 days, you know, like just a little habit, like shopping less, drinking more water, you know, just those really small changes that you can kind of build on, I think are a stronger foundation than trying to kind of go whole hog with, you know, whatever your intentions are for the year. And again, like Lisa said, like intentions are different than resolutions. So the intention, like over the last, I guess 3 years I've done this. And like the first year was when I was first in business and my word was yes. I said yes to everything. I had like my year of yes. And people were like, can you do this? I was like, sure I can. Do you want to collaborate on this? You betcha. You want to do this thing? Sure. So that was really great. So that was a really expansive year. And I don't remember what the following year was, but last year it was about travel and adventure.
Sorry.
Yeah, right?
A year of yes and then a year of no.
Right. Forget it. Yeah, and I think, like saying yes is there's a lot of juicy stuff in there, as there is for no. So if you're like overcommitted and you're feeling frazzled and you're kind of feeling like you're losing yourself, then you might start saying no. For me, I was starting a new endeavor and I wanted to try everything and see how it felt. And so I just said yes. And that was huge. I did all kinds of crazy things in that year in business. And that's how I got to where I am now so quickly, because I just was like, what the hell? Sure. Try it. You know, most everything in life can be changed or fixed, or, you know, it's really very few things in life are undoable, you know what I mean. So this year I think my word is going to be profitability, which I think is really fun.
I love that.
Because in my world, I've just been sort of like I'm always in my business, you know, I'm not always working on my business. So I'm the sort of personality that like I'm thinking about what's happening in front of me. And that's kind of the way I move through life. I'm not always looking up, planning that far into the future. And so I've purposely aligned myself with other people who are more strategic and who do have a longer term game plan, and, you know, business coaches who specialize in this. So my goal in 2017 is to look up and look at how I can improve my business, what I can tweak, how I can be more profitable, because really one of my biggest goals is to be giving more. I've been doing a lot of volunteer work lately, and it's made me so aware of how much that fills me up as a person and how much that expands my business. So I'm looking to be able to make more money so that I can give more money to organizations that really mean a lot to me and that I think are doing amazing things in the world. And also so that I can make more money in my business so that I can take the time away from my business to go do volunteer work. Like I'm really hoping to go do some volunteer work abroad this year. That's one of my goals. is, just to go out in the world and not just stay in my own little world. My world's pretty big, I have to say. I'm talking to somebody in Flagstaff, Arizona and Vancouver right now, so it's not like it's super tiny. But, I think it's just always good to kind of get outside of ourselves. I think often when we're feeling really unhappy in our lives, it's because we're only focusing on ourselves. Mm-hmm. And when we start looking up and seeing what is around us, we feel far more connected to each other and to ourselves, because that's really our soul's work, is to really be of service to one another. I mean, I think that's why we're here on this planet. So the more we can do that, the better we'll feel. The better we feel, the more we're going to want to do it. It's kind of like getting the junk food out of your diet. It's like and then you start feeling way better. You start having more energy and your brain starts working better. It's like, it's systemic. All of this is systemic. So that's why I'm focusing on profitability this year. That's my intention for the year, is to be bigger. It's really not just about how many zeros I have in my accounts. It's about what being more profitable brings to my life and can in turn bring to the world.
I so love that you said that, because, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you my little kind of guilty secret here. I know Lisa knows this. I don't know if Jen knows this, but quite often I have on my books an entrepreneur that I'm working with just pro bono, because there were so many years in my business that I struggled. Lisa Sharp knows this. I really struggled trying to get my feet underneath me, financially. There were so many face down moments where I literally had people reach out and really extend that helping hand. And I was thinking the other day about, where I really love to give back. So some people like to volunteer. Lisa wants to go abroad. I love giving back to entrepreneurs. And I was thinking about, well, why is that so important to me? And Lisa totally nailed it for me. And this is what I realized, is when I give back to entrepreneurs and when I help them kind of break out and become more profitable, right? Get their feet underneath them. They're the people that show up and give more back in their communities by volunteering, spending more money, right? So for every passionate entrepreneur that isn't creating that profitability yet, as they become more profitable, they are the ones that give back. So it's kind of, because I was feeling, like I said, a little bit guilty that I'm not the one out there volunteering and doing this other stuff. And then I realized, well, wait a minute, the work that I'm doing, the way that I give back may look different than other people, but it's still incredibly important work. And it's incredibly fulfilling to me. So I love what you just said there, Lisa, because that's totally nails part of what's important for me going into 2017 as well.
And the other way to give back, again, is just financially. Something I'd been toying with that I heard in an audiobook I was listening to the other day was this idea of non-religious tithing. And so I used to kind of do random gifts throughout the year and keep track of them for, tax donation reasons. And then there was one year where I decided, I'm going to change it and do it all at the end of the year so I can see exactly what I'm doing and make better decisions about where the money's going. But I was kind of playing with the idea for the new year. It was, let's see, what book was it? It was a Prosperity for Writers journal, actually, is what I was looking at. And she was saying about how what she does is she tithes 10% to charity and then 10% to savings, which, obviously if you can save 10%, that's good. And it is such an interesting idea because a lot of people, if they have a drastic change in their financial situation in terms of income, like if one spouse loses a job or if something happens in the economy, I've heard this question asked in a lot of different places. Could you live on 80% of your income? Like, what would it take to live on 80% of your income? And a lot of people think, okay, yeah, if there was some drastic situation, I'm sure we could, tighten our belts and live on 80% of our income. But without the drastic thing happening, can you go ahead and put 20% to savings? And if giving is important to you, that's another way to do it. Like if what you're better at is focusing on making money, like there's a great story of Warren Buffett trying to give away, I think it was about $1 billion that he wanted to give away. And it was so hard and time consuming and frustrating for him to meet with these different charity organizations and try to figure out, is he doing scholarships? Is he doing this? Finally, he just gave it to Bill and Melinda Gates and said, I'm going to go back. It was a whole other job for him to give away $1 billion.
Yeah.
I am so much better at focusing on making money. I'm just going to give a big chunk to somebody like Bill and Melinda who are really studying how to tackle these problems in the best possible way. Okay, malaria. What can we do about malaria? Laser focus on malaria. I think that's a really good point because not everyone has their strong point in, personally volunteering or in, creating things for people that will do good. And if that's not your wheelhouse, if that's not where you're strong, which is so funny, I've never used the word wheelhouse before, just now, and I hear you guys use it all the time. Yeah. I think it's coming into my vocabulary now. But if that's not your thing, you can accomplish a lot of good by giving to organizations that are focused on that and who are really figuring out the best way to make the dollars go.
Cool.
So I think all of those
Absolutely.
are good ways to look at the new year too, is what do you want to do to give back and what's the best way?
Mm-hmm. Love it.
And you know what? This is probably a good place to wrap up the episode now. I paused and I was like, wow, nobody jumped in. Okay, I think we're pretty good. We all have some good intentions for the new year. I didn't set year-long goals either, but I'm trying the 90-day year format again. I'm not doing the course again, but I did get the planner. I'm trying out a different planner. I know I always flash my planner that I use regularly, my golden planner that I love. I'm just going to flash it in real quick. This is the one I've used for several years and I love it. But I'm trying out this 90-day planner now. So I do have my 90-day goals set and I have my planner all filled out for several months now and I'm getting ready. So that's the way I'm doing my goals this year. But I really like the intentions, like here, my production. See, I already have that written. I actually did power and production. I'm thinking about feminism, political power, what can we do to change things we don't like in the world. So I'm doing both power and production, but business-wise, it's production. So,
nice.
Yeah. So we want to hear from all of you. What are your intentions for the new year? How are you planning things out? How are you going to work in your intentions into your actions? How are you going to filter your decisions through all of that? And if you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and leave us a comment to let us know what you think and tell all your friends.
And if you're listening on iTunes, make sure you leave a comment and rate and review us so that other people can find us.
Yay. And come over to our private Facebook group. We'll put a link to that below. And I want to hear, what is your intention of the year for 2017? Are you going to do a word of intention? Does that idea appeal to you? Or are you more like you just don't do any of that? You think, or do you do a resolution? Come over to the group and let us know what you think.
Yeah, I would love to hear what people are thinking about that and just start the conversation. Intentions are powerful when you put some action behind them, and that's the difference between intentions and resolutions. Resolutions can be a little bit airy-fairy, but intentions, oh, yes. Okay.
And if any of you want to go meet us in person at our retreat that we're planning now, let us know, too, because we're going to be working on the details in coming months.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Get some feedback on that. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out, ladies, and I will see you on our next episode.
Bye.
Bye.